A hollow cylinder reaching 185 feet into the sky. Within it, a staircase winds up to the top. Most of its 14,000 tons are supported by its walls. Its walls, however, aren't solid either. They're stone, lime, and mortar, covered with a thin marble facade.
One side, with all of the stone, is getting a lot of pressure. The other side, with all of its stone, is not getting that pressure, so there is an inequality.
As the tower's lean continues, the pressure intensifies. Eventually, the marble in this second floor section will give way, and the building will collapse upon itself.
Could explode at any time, or this was the case in 1990 anyway. So we've got a tower that's just about to fall over and it's on the point of exploding, and that makes it probably the biggest civil engineering challenge there is.
Solving the challenge of the tower has stumped generations of engineers. Its problems began almost as soon as it was built. When plans for the tower were first drawn up in the 12th century, a spot was chosen with a commanding view of Pisa. It was beautiful, but not a very good place to build, since in ancient Italy, the site had been a lagoon. Piero Perotti is an art historian and professor of medieval architecture at the University of Pisa.
Pisa was a system of islands in the middle of a very wide lagoon. This lagoon was slowly filled in by the two most important Tuscan rivers, the Arno and the Auser. And where the rivers had filled in, they left mud, which is softer and wet.
The soft, wet soil left behind by the rivers was where the tower was built.
The ground is so soft that it's really like building a brick tower on a soft carpet. You can go to a certain height, and no matter how straight you try and keep that tower, it'll start to lean and then fall over.
Why build a tower doomed to lean? Although the medieval architects knew that the soil was soft, they may not have known how soft. They thought they had found the perfect spot to build a monument to the glory of Pisa. Today, Pisa is a quiet university town of 100,000. In the 11th century, it was a powerful city-state. Its navy roved the seas, conquering other cities. In 1062, the Pisan navy sailed to Palermo, the capital of Sicily, bent on conquest.
When Pisa's fleet arrived in Palermo, the Sicilians they encountered there said that the citizens of Pisa were the meanest and most ignorant people they had ever met. In reality, there was this strong arrogance of considering themselves the first, the best. This arrogance made it easy for other cities to find allies against Pisa.
In 1063, the victorious Pisan navy returned, their chests bursting with pride and their pockets bursting with Sicilian money. They decided to build a glorious square, the religious center of medieval Pisa. The square known today as the Piazza dei Miracoli, Square of Miracles. It would have a magnificent cathedral, one that would surpass any other church in Italy. Next to it would be a baptistry, where Pisa's richest citizens could be baptized. Its crowning glory, the masterpiece of Pisan civilization, would be the cathedral's bell tower, or campanile. On August 9th, 1173, the foundation for the tower was laid, directed it is thought by Pisan architect Bonanno Pisano. By the time the third level was built, the tower was starting to settle unevenly. It was leaning north, not south as it does today. The Italians weren't worried. Many buildings in Pisa leaned a little. They simply compensated by making the columns and arches on the north side of the third level a little taller.
Pisa had something like 10,000 towers. It was known that an adjustment of the ground was necessary, They would start construction, and they would look onto which side the tower was leaning and would build up the other side.
They didn't have the technology which we have now. If we were doing the tower now, we would have driven what are called piles down onto that dense sand 40 meters down. But they didn't have that technology in 1173.